So, shalom and good rising, good rising. Oh, today is such a wonderful and beautiful day already. And I perceive that the reason I feel this way is because I made up my mind that it would be that way. But before I forget, and that's just me turning off the ceiling fan as I walk around the apartment and share these beautiful truths that the Spirit reminded me of this morning. This rising, as I was in the tub, which is where I get a lot of beautiful flowing information. And that's this. I started thinking about, and I don't think it was on purpose, by the way, and it is no shade to any who utilize these things, who use them, because I do as well. I love them. But let me go ahead and share what I'm talking about. So I'm sitting in the tub and I had made myself a bath kind of the way that I would like it. It's not all the way I would like, because, I needed a couple things, or I would have liked to have a few more things in my bath. But, I didn't have my crystals around. I didn't have candles lit and things like that. And I do like doing that from time to time. I didn't have herbs to put in my bath to consider it that some would consider now spiritual. And the Spirit reminded me that we do not need any of those things to take a spiritual bath. And this is how Spirit told me. First of all, Spirit comes across for me kind of like it, and it's different voices at different times, but this one was more so like a grandmother who was kind of sassy, right? And she was telling me, you never needed all of those things. She said, child, you've been taking spiritual baths since before you knew what it was called. She said, you've been giving yourself affirmations before you knew what it was called. These are ways that we have always communicated with you. Even before it became a little mainstream and before it became all the rave, this is what was happening to you. You were doing this anyway. And it's simply because it's how Spirit works. So Spirit went in detail and was like, look, you don't need all of those things outside of yourself. You yourself, as the spiritual being in this human experience that you are the biggest conductor or the biggest vessel for Spirit. Okay? And so I think that the message here that Spirit wants to convey is that, let's just say, for those who are not able to purchase these types of things, and I'm not trying to make, people can do what they want. People will do what they want. But what I feel that Spirit wanted it to be known is that, listen, you are everything that you need to connect to us. Spirit also reminded me that we've always been connected, that we only lose connection. And that normally one of the major ways that a lot of us tend to lose connection from Spirit early on in life is because of some major traumatic experience. And for some of us, we lose it because people tell us that the way that we connect is wrong. Okay? Now, to go back to the first thought, Spirit gave me more examples of the traumatic experiences. And one of those examples was truly any form of abuse, be it mental, emotional, physical, okay? Sexual abuse, financial even abuse. And Spirit said that especially when you experience some form of mental or physical or sexual abuse, they create these feelings of unworthiness, right? And that you've done something wrong, or that you somehow did something to deserve the behavior that was forced upon you. or the behavior that begin to alter your state of mind without your permission. And so from there, things are taken from us that we do not realize right away. And being so youthful and so young, kind of like an apprentice in our powers, a lot of times we tend to take on that power, or that not the power, but that notion of being powerless when something is taken from us like that. And then that's what we get in exchange for our powerfulness being taken from us. And so we actually have to be trained, and we have to get into quiet places, and we have to have things like meditation. Also, when you were growing up and you got talked about by people, I don't know about anyone else, but that has definitely been something for me. I used to get teased, talked about, first by family members as well as other people who did not know me. And when we got to school, it was even worse, right? Because there were more people to tell you about how ugly you are, or how weird you are, or just that something is wrong with you the way that you are, right? And so Spirit reminded me that there were plenty of times that I would go home and I would sit with myself and I would talk to myself all the time. And Spirit was telling me that that was me giving myself affirmations, and this was Spirit led. I didn't know to do that. Not consciously, but now that I'm older, a little bit more mature, and Spirit tells me in my quiet time during meditation that you've always done this. You've always been connected. This is how I'm able to see the comparison. And if my fellow brothers and sisters who come across this podcast, if you experience things just like I did, even down to the speaking and encouraging yourself, then you'll understand what Spirit is saying. You have always known that you needed to do this. It's so beautiful. So anyways, these were some of the things that Spirit wanted me to say. And I'm so glad, because at the end of the day, there are some people who may never buy a crystal. They may never be able to buy the herbs, right? Just because of certain things in their life, certain conditions, things like that. Nothing major, right? But they still have access to Spirit because they themselves are a walking conductor. They are walking vessels, some wide open, others kind of closed. So the things that we have to do to connect to Spirit is simply get back to self. And a lot of times that comes in stillness, that comes in being quiet, that comes in just getting to yourself, doing things that it is that you want to do, not being led to conform, not being led to do anything in any particular way other than what Spirit leads and guides you to do. So without further ado, let me be clear, okay? I am a crystal girl. I love candles. And I absolutely adore all the beautiful businesses that are truly helping us to ascend, helping us to tap in, helping us to enjoy being in the presence of Spirit. But the truth of the matter is that we don't need any of it. We only need ourselves and the desire and willingness to sit with ourselves and listen to what our spirits have to say. Peace and love, wholeness of mind, body, and spirit. I love you all with the love of the Most High. This is Naeem Shakam signing off.